Okay, so I'm here with Warren Smith, who is a former Downend Cricket Club player and actually the first team captain from 1989 to 1992. Firstly, Warren, can you remember your first involvement or memory at Downend?
Yes, I was 16 and I decided to move from Frenchay up to Downend, and I went to indoor nets. I think John Farrelly was the captain. And from there, I played my first game in the second team at Gloucester,
okay.
And got, I don't know, about 28, 29 runs, something like that. And then the week after, I opened in the first team at Midsummer Norton, and that's where I stayed. I remember that first game. We batted first, and I opened the innings, and I batted the whole 45 overs for 50 not out.
Yeah.
And we got 130.
Yeah.
And that was enough. We, in those days, that was a competitive score, and we won. We had three very good bowlers: Paul Willis, Andy Bromley, Terry Barnes. All minor county standard, really good, accurate bowlers. And give them 150, and you were in the game.
So from your earliest involvement at Downend, am I right in thinking a lot of people have mentioned the coach Robin Smith, who's obviously your dad?
Yeah.
What was it like being coached by your father?
Well, I don't think I was coached as much as some of the other boys, because he was a coach at Frenchay,
okay.
And I left to come up to Downend at 16. He had encouraged me a lot, but you know what it's like with your dad. Often you don't want to listen to them. So yeah, I think he did. He obviously had an influence, especially on really getting me to want to play the game, and to play it to the best of my ability. So yeah, he was an influence, but his coaching really took off from about the time I moved on up to Downend, and then a few years later he came from Frenchay to Downend and did a wonderful job there.
Was he? How would you describe him as a coach? A lot of people say that it would kind of be an all year round thing where he'd be in the nets on Christmas Eve or something like that.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't a technical coach. He hadn't played much cricket after school, but he was very good at encouraging the boys, and they knew that they could rely on him. As you say, he would be there every night of the week through the winter, doing indoor practice. He was big on his fitness, so he'd get them out running and doing exercises, and he just kind of fueled their ambitions to get better, and it seems to work. I mean, he believed in a couple of basics. He believed in playing a good straight bat, and when you're bowling, the front arm being a real kind of lead of the action. But he wasn't much more technical than that. But he knew a good cricketer when he saw one, and he was very proud of some of the boys who came through to the first team, and county seconds and what have you.
Yeah, I mean, well, obviously Matt Jackson and Phil Jackson mentioned him. My dad mentioned him. Ponce has mentioned him. He didn't coach him, but Ponce knew about him. You were captain, Warren, from 1989 to 1992. What was it like being captain at Downend?
Oh, it was brilliant. It wasn't easy to start with. I took over from John Thompson just as the 1987 league-winning team was kind of breaking up, moving away. So to start with, the team wasn't that strong, but it came together. And by the by the time I've been doing it for a couple of years, I remember 1990, we had a fantastic team, and we had so many good cricketers in that team, and we won. I think we won some 35 out of 39 games, and
wow.
We only lost one league game, which was to Cheltenham. Unfortunately, they didn't lose any games, so we came runners up that year. But yeah, I mean, it was great. I was really aware of the history of the club, the ground itself, the atmosphere of the place, and in those days, the captain literally did everything. Yeah. You had to run the whole game. You had to make sure you picked up the ball, you informed the umpires, you made sure the tee was there, you made sure the pitch was cut. You did absolutely everything. And so, it was great fun, but you needed to be young, you needed to have lots of energy to do it. But yeah, it was very rewarding.
You took over from the legend John Thompson, and you were captain for 3 seasons or 4 seasons at Downend. Over those 4 seasons, you'd have captained good players, bad players, ones that were difficult to captain. But were there any best 3 players that you'd played with at Downend?
Yeah. I'll come on to that in a minute. I mean, I played with some really good players.
Okay.
They're like going back to when I wasn't captain, Paul Willis, Andy Bromley.
Yeah.
Fantastic bowlers and so competitive. And then when I was captain, I had people like Jerry Swatton, who came from Chicken Sodbury, brought Martin Gerrard along with him. Really good players, but difficult to handle in the fact that you weren't quite sure what they were going to say. You weren't quite sure what state they were going to turn up in. But get them out on the pitch, they were competitive. They're good players. And then the likes of James Avis and Jamie Whitby-Coles, the Colson's boys who were coached by my dad. Very, very talented. And James went on to play for Gloucestershire. Mike Padell for 2 years, a fantastic opening batsman. Didn't really continue with it. He kind of lost his way a bit, but for a couple of years there, he was as good as anything. The Jacksons were very young, so they were still developing, but I could tell how good they were going to be. But when it comes down to my best players, the 2 really good all-rounders and 1 outstanding quick. So I started with a lad about the same age as mine. We were very, very close on off the pitch, Paul Hill. At 17, he was dominating, first team men's cricket. He just took to it. Whereas, I struggled with the step up from playing schoolboy cricket to all of a sudden the pressure of playing in the league. But he just, he was like the finished article then. And the best fielder I've ever seen. So, really, really good player. The other all-rounder, someone you know really well, your dad, Jason, fantastic player. And such a good team man. So easy to captain. Would always do what you asked him to do. Would always try and contribute. But a really good player. I knew him from school. I had seen him when he was 12, 13, and he was a teeny little thing, scrum half. He had broken all the batting records, and then he came back at 18, 6'3", 15 stone. I couldn't believe it. And I put him in the team. It's number 7, and he bowled a bit to start with. And if it was wet or dusty, he would bowl those cutters. And he made a real impression with the ball. But it was obvious he could bat, and he just went from strength to strength. And I'd say when he was captain for 2 or 3 years, he was, there was no better player in the league. The big bat, which none of us could lift, but he made it look like a wand, and he just dropped the bat on the ball, played all, and the timing was incredible. And then he was a fantastic first slip, great hands. I can't remember him ever dropping anything. So 2 really good all-rounders who could have played at a higher level, with if they wanted to, if they had been motivated to. And then the third one, who did play at a higher level, played for Gloucestershire, was Martin Gerrard. I don't know if you've heard of him, but I mean, he joined us from Chicken Sodbury. He played against us, I think, 1989 on a Sunday game, left arm, off a short run up, but loads of potential. He bounced me out. I tried to hook him and straight up, and I thought, well, this guy would be useful. He was a good friend of Jerry Swatton, so he came to Downend, and he just progressed so quickly. In full flight, he was pushing him from the side screen, great rhythm, and he was nasty. And there weren't many helmets about in those days, and he frightened a lot of people. And if you got it right, he used to go 7 or 8 wickets, and he'd just go through teams. And he didn't play that long, 2-3 years. I know Glamorgan were interested in. They sent scouts up. Downend did as well, and not Downend, sorry, Gloucestershire. And before you know it, he's opening the bowling for Gloucestershire. So those are probably the three outstanding, game changers, I would say, that I played with.
You were captain until 1992, and you handed it over to my dad in 93. Yeah. Did you then continue to play for Downend under my dad, and then under the other captains until 2001?
Yes, yeah. I played under your dad. We played in that 93 cup-winning side. Really good side there with Bromley and Averiss and Whitby Coles doing the bowling, and Padell and Jamie Skinner, and your dad, playing out his skin. That was a really good team.
Yeah.
And then I think I then had a second spell, another 2 or 3 seasons.
Okay.
I think I took over from your dad again, and then after that, I think it was people like Jamie Skinner and Ian Webb, and then in about 2001, I had enough. I think Ian Webb was captain when I called it a day.
What was it like? I've just quickly touched on Matt and Phil Jackson, because obviously it's a good 20 years ago now, Warren. I don't want to remind you of that, but it's a good 20 years, and they've matured probably as cricketers. But was it difficult to captain any of the Jacksons out of interest?
Well, I mean, for whatever reason, Phil was probably the one person who just didn't really respond to my style of captaincy. I don't think he kind of got the way I was trying to do it, and he was only 17, 18, and he had a hell of a lot of potential. But I don't think he looked on me as someone who actually kind of rated him, or there was just something about it. But I see him now, and we get on, great, and he's a brilliant player. Yeah. His brother, a little bit easier, a little bit more easygoing, and he kept wicket, when he was only 14, 15, and batted in the middle order. And the potential and what they've done for the club is just incredible. I mean, they played like 25 years, and their stats is just mind-boggling. Brilliant players. So I missed their peak, but I could tell. I mean, I saw Phil at 13 when I took a school team to play against his school, and he was head and shoulders above everybody else. And I was so pleased when he did come up to Downend. But as I say, it's a bit frosty to start with, but it's not like that now, which is great.
No, and on Facebook, I don't know if you've seen, but a few people have done challenges and answering questions such as, the best fielder, best batsman, best opening bowler, best spinner. You know the score. Yes. And a lot of people have mentioned your name as the best opening batsman and top order batsman. How does that feel to be nominated at such a high level?
Oh, I'm really pleased. I put a lot of time into developing my game. I went from very limited, really, and just someone who just stuck in there when I was just, 16, 17. By the time I was in my mid-20s, I'd developed my stroke play, and I was a much more rounded player. So I'm really honoured that people think that. I know that people did think I had a good technique, and on my day I could play pretty well. I wasn't as consistent as I would have liked to have been, but when I got into a good frame of mind, I play well, and it's great that people recognise that.
Do you think that cricket's more of a mental game at the moment?
I think it's a hugely mental game. I think the self-confidence is such a big thing. I think, you can go a long way on that. If you put that with, the dedication to work on your skills, then, you're going to be a very, very good player. But mental is massive. You're not going to get anywhere if you haven't got the right attitude.
No.
And you don't believe in yourself.
You obviously haven't played for a while, and cricket's probably changed quite a lot. You know, the new competitions that they've introduced. But just at the West of England Premier League standard, the Whipple standard, do you think it's changed financially or standard-wise? Do you think any of that comes into play?
Yeah, I think it's changed a lot. I think it's a much more balanced game now. When I started, it was a defensive game. Teams would survive with 2 or 3 good bowlers, usually older guys who bowled all the overs. Yeah. There was no restriction. There's no restriction in fielding, so if you got up to 6 or 7 and over, everyone's on the boundary. You know, it was a difficult game, especially for youngsters. That's what made Paul Hill so impressive, because he kind of cracked it straight away. But it was 45 overs, you know, and those overs would go quite quickly. The pitches could be a bit slow because they were uncovered. So yeah, very different game. You know, when I finished, the pitches were covered. You know, you had to bowl 5 bowlers, so it tested team strength. The fielding was much better. The outfields were better. You know, the game had developed a lot. What I didn't particularly enjoy is some of the attitude of the teams. You know, some of the sledging and just the banal kind of stuff, which kind of crept in from the first class game. But yeah, I mean, it is a different game without a doubt, and you know, for the better.
Before we finish, Warren, I've just got a question from my dad quickly, saying, asking, what's the best ground that you'd played at as a down-end player?
Well, it's got to be Bath. The wicket was always fantastic, even you know, before everyone else got decent wickets. It was superb. It just had a lovely feel to it with the trees around it and just an immaculate outfield. You know, a proper setup where they did everything just right. And yeah, I love playing at Bath, and I did quite well there. So yeah, it was a good place.
That's always good for a personal note. Warren, thank you very much for giving up your time, and I hope you and your family stay safe during these unprecedented times.
Thank you very much, and keep up the good work. I've enjoyed listening to everyone.